Right, welcome everybody again. We have some technical issues regarding our PowerPoint for our weekly webinar for our products. So today is the introduction of our AMPR camera. So my apologies for the PowerPoint not working correctly. These things do happen, but we'll carry on. So regarding our AMPR cameras, there's multiple different ways that we can connect this. I'm going to carry on pushing the button to hope that this thing will work. Maybe someday. So you can connect up the AMPR camera just like these. You have the 4-line, the 7 lines. There's different models, different applications. So you can mount this and you can connect this up with the normal triggers to a boom gate. Or you can even go one step further and connect it up with an access control that allows you to be able to make a whitelist, a blacklist, or maybe others, whatever the case might be. So that gives you the chance to be able to basically make a list and then set up for any person to go in and out of that premises. So that can be used for complexes. I think a lot of you have seen it before where a lot of the guys have used it, where it picks up the number plate of the person living inside the complex and it will open up the boom and the person will go in and there's a log that can be pulled. Obviously, if the vehicle's been registered as a blacklist and the number plate has been put onto there, it won't grant them access into the property. The next one is obviously also for like shopping malls. A lot of us have seen it where you still have to use the no touch pad to be able to open up the boom, but they do have AMPR cameras in the front that allows us to be able to use that capability of pulling a log if there's any incidents or anything. So it does take that snapshot of your number plate. So I'm going to try and kill this program. Let me just see if I can stop sharing it. There we go. Maybe that will work, because there's so much more information. Okay, it's completely stuck. All right, let's see what we can share here with you guys. Let me share this one. And then we're gonna go share page 2. There we go. All right, so at least I've got a PDF file available. We're going to go through a little bit of things here just to showcase. So obviously, when it comes to the AMPR camera, when it comes to different speeds and different applications, you need to obviously consider the height, the degree angle, and where the distance is that it needs to pick up. So for each application is different. If it's slow moving vehicles, yes, you can put it down low, close to the boom gate. So that allows you for just taking that snapshot of the number plate. There's different ways of setting this up. A lot of the guys still have battles with it, and there's a percentage rate that it needs to pick up the number plate. Not just that, also, you can also make sure that you get an alert for a misread. So it will let you know if the vehicle has no number plate, or maybe somebody has stick something over the number plate, that you need to have a look at the physical picture and assign to say that if it's something that you guys need to look at or not. All right. So very straightforward, very easy to use. There's different models, different projects. Let me just have a look. So obviously with the newer models, it has built-in radar. So the interface has also changed. You'll have lines that you can draw up and obviously your pickup points. We do have South African firmware for our AMPR cameras. If you are still using Europe, please make sure that update. Something happened to my computer. Please make sure that you try and update that, and you'll be able to see that on the version of the software itself. While we're on that, I can't show that, but in any case, we'll discuss that next week on the technical side, and I'll make sure that we put that in. So on the newer model, obviously the newer models that we have on AMPR, this is more towards the traffic control side of things, but it's very quick and very easy to install. The nice thing is it will take the number plate, it will take kilometers of the vehicle speed. It will also tell you what category it falls in. It will tell you the color, the shape of the vehicle, and the model, and stuff like that. So for each application is a different way of going through that. Where is my There we go. Different models. So just to showcase a bit, obviously, like I mentioned on the website, you guys can go as well. But here is just to showcase different models. So these are our deep learning algorithm with the box shape itself. So there are different lines, different ways that this can be used. So they are really, really strong when it comes to ANPR. The thing is, at nighttime, you don't want a camera or any normal ANPR to be able to not pick up the number plate because of the vehicle's headlights or strong headlights. With our deep learning and darkfighter capability with our ANPR cameras, it will allow to make sure that the picture pulls in and give you the number plate. A lot of the guys have been using this a lot and have mentioned the fact that sometimes at night they are not reading. So each environment and each installation is different. So you cannot have a preset settings. You have to physically go and set it in. And if you work into the degree angles and the distance that you need, it will definitely get better. So those are definitely things that we will be working on with you guys and try and showcase how you can set it in the correct manner. I'm trying to make sure that we have the new baby and the older versions to be able to, and the 7 series as well, to be able to showcase those type of settings in the next technical one that we have. So just to carry on, you have, like, this is the 7 series model that a lot of the guys are using. You have different type of lenses, as you can see as well, different models. You have the 2.8 to 12. A lot of the guys are using the 8 to 32 models. So those ones are very common use bullet ANPR cameras the guys are using. Any of the robot intersections itself, it will be put up to be able to pick up the number plates for different companies, as example like Sniper, that will go into their base station and alert whoever the security company is in that environment that there's a suspect vehicle or that vehicle is wanted with a docket number. So that makes life a bit easier. Right, then as I mentioned on our newer models, this is the one without the radar at the bottom. The radar at the bottom can be swapped or added on. It's got a little spot here at the bottom. There we go. Obviously with the radar model, and that one's got like a little roof. The roof is somewhere in the building. It's somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, so that gives you the capability of adding that radar as well. Radar will just make it so much quicker, so much better, more accurate. So definitely keep that in mind as well. And then, my PowerPoint is still not opening. I have honestly no idea why it's doing that to me today. I think in future, I'll try and see if we can copy it over to a PDF to make sure that we have a backup so that you have that capability of still seeing what's going on. Right. So on the ANPR camera, also to take note that with the ANPR camera, it's not just there to pick up the number plate. It also allows you to give you a field of view. But if you do have cameras, that is for the guys that cannot really afford field of view and ANPR, then they use both of that. Normally, the best case scenario is to use the ANPR camera as a number plate camera only. So at nighttime, you don't need to be able to look at what color the vehicle is, what shape the vehicle is. All you need to know is the number plate of that vehicle. That's the most important thing to remember. That's why we have dark fighter cameras, we have color view cameras, which allows you as an overview to see what the shape of the vehicle is, what model, and all that other nice little goodie information that you need to know. I know that a lot of the guys are using the analytics where the ANPR camera picks up the number plate and gives them the models and the type of vehicle. So if you do go into the search itself on the VCA, which allows you so much more information and so much more things to do, that will be able to showcase. If you put in Volvo, it will show you all the vehicles as Volvo that has been picked up with the number plates next to it. So, and also you can set up as well where you put the first 3 digits or 3 symbols of the ANPR camera. It will also allow you to showcase that. I'm going to try and move this baby over here. Please work. All right. Let's just, I'm not going to open it bigger, guys. It's, never mind. It's a Friday morning. Okay. So let's just see if it's going to go to the next one. Nope. There we go. Next one. There we go. Yes, it works. Brilliant. Okay, we're going to skip a few things. Okay, go. Right, there we go. Okay, so automatic number plate recognition, it's in the system. It will basically ignore the headlights and basically concentrate on the number plate. That is the part of our deep learning algorithm inside the camera. So it's very important to note that. Like I mentioned earlier, it's nice for access control as well. The ANPR camera can be put up by the entrance as the vehicle approach, and you have put up the client or the vehicle onto a white list, it will open up the boom. If he's not on the list, it will not open up the boom. Other places will have a no touch pad, or maybe as an example, or bigger construction areas or complex areas. Where's the other one now? Double authentication, where is it? But in any case, right, let's just go quickly back. So it will allow you also to have that no touch pad, or maybe an outdoor sensor, or whatever the case might be, or maybe a trigger plate. It will take a picture of that vehicle and then open up the boom, like for shopping mall. A lot of you guys have been at certain malls and you've seen this before. And when you look at the camera, it will say Hikvision, because we are good. A lot of people like our product, so, and it really works well. But the problem is a lot of information and the diagnostics of how to set it up correctly and quickly and effectively has not been given through correctly. So our aim this year is to make sure that we can concentrate on that whole package to be able to give you guys the best information and the most current information and the best solutions regarding those ways of setting up. But anyway, if you've got a gated community or big business complex, it will do that. If I get to the office, our ANPR camera picks up my number plate. I don't have to press the remote, opens up the boom, and I drive in. So it gives me that, you know, comfortability of life. So double authentication. Double authentication is when you have the vehicle that needs to be picked up and maybe the person's face. So some of them will have an outdoor terminal, and you'll be able to present your face and your number plate, and then only the boom will open. So being more secure, especially for high-risk environment areas. Right, solutions. So very straightforward. Like I mentioned, you can connect it up to a boom. You can even have a sensor on the ground, a trigger plate, whatever the case might be. You can also connect it up to your access control. And from your access control, you can pull a report if you need be to say that staff member, when did he arrive at work, when did he leave at work, that kind of information. And like I said, that double authentication. So you have the ANPR and you have the access control, whether they use their card or maybe they use their finger or their face. Whatever the case is nowadays, cards can be swapped out. Vehicles, obviously people can drive other vehicles, but face is something you can't borrow to someone. Yeah, unless you cut it off. But anyway, let's not go scary. But anyway, so, and then from there on, we can connect it to multiple different platforms, from your HIK Connect to on your smartphone to HIK Central and to a normal I-series NVR. So the I-series is where our deep algorithm is also on it. I know the camera has that analytics, but sometimes it helps so much more that the analytics is on the NVR as well. So you can do so much more with it. So keep that in mind, always to go towards an I-series NVR. Right, so yeah, we have a normal solution with a boom gate. It's very straightforward. The ANPR camera will see it, it will trigger, and it will open up, or there's maybe a trigger plate or maybe a loop detector on the ground, anything like that. All those is possible. It will be pulled into the NVR, or it can go to a control center itself. So it gives you that capability. Right, next up is obviously that authentication of access control. So again, same principle. If there's vehicles that are listed as in the whitelist, it will grant them access. If there's no vehicles that's granted that access, it will not open. So if it's under the blacklist, it will block it. If it's under the whitelist, it will open up, but you can pull that report from your access control. And then HR can also see what that information is. Or maybe the store manager can see that, listen, the truck arrived this time, it offloaded all the stock, so you can keep a report of that information as well. Then, there we go, found it. Okay, so normal terminal outside, it's with a facial reader as example, and then you can pull it in through Wigan or through RS as example, and then it will authenticate the person with the number plate, having that two authentication, and then only it will open up a boom. It's not just booms, it can be roller shutters, it can be gates. There's a lot of outdoor equipment for automation that you'll be able to grant access to that capability. Right. So on our ANPR cameras, the nice thing is that it is really good with the deep algorithm itself. So reducing that false reads and reducing that no plate reads itself. So that's very important to remember. Obviously, a lot of you guys are used to the different protocols, and you know that our data security has been improved and it's really strong and good. Then also to take note, you can store up to 10,000 pictures that the library can basically handle. So on the access control, so that gives you a lot more capability. So for any big place, it's quite a lot. And if you take it to your NVR or to a cloud or to HIK-Central, you can also store that information and have all that to your fingerprints, your fingertips. So that allows you also, if there's a certain vehicle that goes into a shopping mall the whole time, you can take that registration and you can see the activity itself, how many times a week or month they normally go to that mall. So if there's a situation as example. Right, different models, different applications, dark fighter, you guys, all the little goodies. The nice thing is about mounting, the brackets are much easier compared to the first generation, and your angle settings are so much better. And the new brackets on the new models are even better. So you can really fine tune it. Right, so deep learning algorithm, a quality of image, and it's got the security itself. Right. Next one is obviously to be able to, here we go. Stay there, stay. Okay, so obviously not just that high access itself, it's also basically designed with a deep algorithm to ignore different things out of those areas itself to give you misreads. So a lot of the guys on the trucking industry that uses the ANPR cameras would say, yeah, but it picks up different things. If it does that and it's not picking up the algorithm of the number plate, then definitely have a look at the firmware. And then obviously the calibration of that environment needs to be set up correctly. This is just to go through a little boom area. So there you don't have a lot of speed. So you should be able to get a proper read on the number plate instead of having a read on the stickers. Right. So that's very basic. And then obviously it will also tell you no plate. So you can set it up as well to give you a read to say that there's a no plate vehicle that went past. So you can look at the picture, look at the vehicle, and then take the matter further, especially if it's a shopping mall or a gated community. That's something that's very important, because why does he not have any plates? It could be maybe that somebody got a bumper to bumper, because those things are like common in this area in Joburg. Every second car's got a scratch on it. Sad. Anyway, so the next one is obviously for motorcycles. It can be set up, obviously mostly just available for checkpoints itself, so slower area because their plates are a bit smaller and because of the size of the vehicle. But the further we go with the algorithm, the more that things get increased and better at it. Okay. Next one up. There we go. So for parking lot areas, it grants you that capability of also not just seeing how many vehicles enter and exit that parking, it also gives you a bit more control of it. We can also use the camera for one-way street. So where you'd use that application, if a vehicle goes the opposite direction, you can draw a line and say that if any vehicle crosses that line from B to A, instead of from A to B, it needs to send you an alert. So one-way streets, that will be ideal for, especially for gated communities, or maybe for, I don't know, malls or something, underground parking. There we go. So you have that capability of sending all those triggers, getting those notifications, and also linking it to different devices that you need to be triggered. Okay, next up is obviously a general, like we discussed earlier, the dark fighting algorithm that's built into the ANPR. Normal cameras, you'll see the headlights, but you won't see the number plate. With our deep algorithm itself and the right setup, again, like I mentioned, you're supposed to only see the vehicle and slightly the headlights. That gives you that capability of just concentrating on the number plate. That is its duty, its job, its capability, and its design is to pick up number plates. A lot of the guys, like I mentioned again, and I'm hammering on this, are using the ANPR cameras for dual purpose. It is designed for dual purpose, but if you want the camera to only focus on number plates, keep it on the number plates and have overview cameras to look at the area and the color and the vehicle, the shape, and all those type of things. So, but if you don't have the budget for it and your client doesn't have the budget for, yes, you can have the overview, but take note that, you know, yeah. All right. So normal light, highlight bright vehicles with spotlights, especially the guys, the farmers with those light bars, those things are really, really bright, and they do create a lot of interference. But because of our deep learning algorithm, we got it. Okay, moving along. So like I mentioned, a larger area that can be covered. Most general cameras are only focused on the number plates, but ours can focus on the area and the number plate itself. If it's maybe slower area, if it's on a motorway or road or gravel road, the best is to concentrate on the number plate first, and then maybe have another camera as an overview. All right, let's move along. Okay, this doesn't apply to us, but the African one, the software does. So with ours, we've got different number plates in South Africa. We have like KZN vehicles. Where I'm from, we'll have KZN, or it will have the town area name in front and then the number. In Joburg, it will have the information of the number plate, whether it's letters and numbers, and then at the end GP, and so on. We carry on with all the other provinces from Cape Town to Free States, etc., etc. So the camera with the African one will tell you which region that plate is in, if it's been assigned and set up correctly, and it will translate it in the correct language as well. So that capability is there. Let's move along. So on the security data one, I'm not going to go too far down that one. Obviously, you guys do know that there's a lot more algorithm that goes into our firewalls of our data itself. So you shouldn't have any of those problems because everything has been put in. So the new TLS 1.2 has been, well, is now. Before we used to use 1.1. So now we've improved on that as well to make sure that the security is even better. Okay. Is it going to move? It's not moving. There we go. Right. So on our previous generation, compared to what we have now on our like the deep learning algorithm ANPR, that's our 7 series, and then obviously our 4 series that a lot of the guys were used to. So on the 4 series, we didn't have the deep learning algorithm on it. We also a no plate reads didn't give you notifications, all those type of little goodies. Now with the new one, it gives you all that information. You have that capability. And this is on our 7 series, so a lot of the guys have been using it, have been working with it, know it very well. And then obviously with our newer ones, it's even more increased. So there's so much more that we are working on. And obviously the further we go down the year, and obviously next year, the more the technology improves and the more the technology learns and just gets better and better and better and more accurate, Right. So there we go. So general places, yeah. Okay, so obviously the 7 series will be nice to be able to use those type of smaller cameras for shorter distance, like parking, residential area, garage area, parking, the shopping malls, stuff like that. And then our traffic control ones, which is those ones there, they are mostly used for main roads, freeway, stuff like that, picking up by the robots. So you've seen those little mushrooms with the cameras around them. They are ANPR and overview cameras to be able to be proactive regarding. So say a person was involved with ATM fraud, their vehicle was picked up by a mall, the footage is there, so then a case was open and that registration has been loaded onto the system. Once the vehicle goes past the robot area, it will flag and notify whoever the monitoring company is. And once the arm response goes out, they start searching and follow for that vehicle. And then they arrest them, being proactive. Okay. Next one is just to showcase a bit of the models. So there's different models, different applications, like we've mentioned before. So these are our more traffic control ones. These are the ones that the guys are all used to, but they still work. They are better in price compared to the bigger ones, obviously, and they're better priced than the radar ones. But if you want something accurate and you really want it to always work, there's solutions. All right, let's see what's the next one. Come on. All right, so let's kill it there. It's this PowerPoint has really done a number today. So yeah, that is our ANPR camera. So keep an eye on for next week. There we go. Let's just quickly close that up and then make sure that everything else is working. So for the ANPR camera, you guys can definitely have a look at the newer models as well. We will be discussing next week all the technical stuff about that. And once again, thank you for everybody for joining, and my apologies for the technical difficulties. These things do happen. I didn't expect it to happen again with me, but yeah, I have no answers on why these PowerPoints are not always going according to plan, but definitely will work hard on it.